Welcome to the Boomer Briefing Podcast, where we help you solve a critical business issue in 20 minutes or less. I'm Amanda Wilkie, a consultant here with Boomer Consulting, and with me today is Jim Boomer, our CEO here at Boomer Consulting. And so, Jim, thanks for being here with me today.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm excited because today we're talking about the big trends that we're seeing in the accounting profession. And in particular, we're going to talk about AI and AI really being everywhere out there.
Yeah, and I don't think it's probably a surprise that AI everywhere is one of our 5 macro trends. So really we tried to focus on the entire profession and the work we do with leading firms throughout the country, and say, what are the big things that are going on? And then let's dig into those and look at them from the lens of each of the 5 pillars of success that we have in the Boomer advantage. So I think probably the best way is kind of exactly that, dig into each of those pillars. So I'll kick us off and talk a little bit about, from a leadership perspective, when we talk about AI, I mean, the main thing that leaders need to be doing is, first off, embracing it, encouraging others to learn and to dive in, and then really leading this transformation. And so leaders need to, first off, take a stand on AI, and make that that position known throughout the firm, because the tone is really set from the top. And so when you embrace AI while also setting proper guidelines, it's going to be a big game changer in accounting firms, but organizations across the board. But you really do, as a leader, need to educate yourself and understand the pros, the cons, the risks, the ethical aspects of AI, and you don't have to know every detail, but you need to be at a level of competence of where you can talk to the team and dig in yourself. Excuse me. So, again, educating yourselves on the various tools, the use cases that are actually quickly coming to bear as more and more firms dig in here. So both the technical, the risks, and the ethical. So that's the leadership lens. From a talent, it's really, looking at AI as an opportunity to augment your people and then elevate them. So it's about gaining back time or capacity. But if we ask you what you're going to do with that capacity, and your answer is we're going to do more of the same, is that the right answer?
No, never.
No, wrong. What we like to see is that the answer to that question is we want to free up capacity, so that we can continue to expand our capabilities and the value that we can deliver to our clients, both internally and externally. But really, I mean, the thing that everybody needs to know is every person in your firm can benefit from AI, because it's going to augment our work, and it's going to elevate the level of things that we focus on and really spend our time on going into the future. So those are the first 2 lenses. I'm going to hand it over to you to talk a little bit about the other 3 pillars.
Yeah, so let's start with process, because Jim, like you have said, AI is pretty much going to change everything. And so it's definitely going to change the processes that firms use to provide services and deliverables to their clients. So from a process perspective, we really encourage you to make sure that you're incorporating AI and an AI strategy into your continuous improvement plan. Because again, these processes need to change to incorporate what AI can do for them, what it can do for building that capacity like you talked about, Jim, what it can do for the clients, what it can do for even bringing new services to your clients as well. And when you're looking at those processes, we encourage you to look at the tasks that you can automate. It's nearly impossible, and sometimes you wouldn't want to automate an entire process, but you can build that capacity and start bringing AI into your firm by looking at what tasks and particular processes that you can actually that you can leverage AI. So where can AI really impact your process? That's what you want to be looking at, and make sure that you're incorporating that into your processes, and again, into your continuous improvement strategy as well. Another pillar is our growth area. And we're already seeing AI a lot in the area of growth, because firms out there are using it a lot for things like thought leadership, and really building more personalization into their relationships with their clients. And I think John will probably know the statistic off the top of his head, but I think it's somewhere around 70% of opportunity and organic growth, comes from your existing clients. So looking at what AI can do for them, and there's even some educational opportunities there, Jim, as you mentioned, from a leadership perspective and from a talent perspective. Our profession needs to understand AI enough to go in there and talk to clients with confidence, and even help them understand and embrace the technology as well. So that gap in knowledge, for your client base can actually be turned into an opportunity as well. And you need to make sure that you are communicating well with your clients when it comes to a growth strategy as well. It's important to let them know what your firm is doing in the areas of AI, and how you're leveraging AI to, again, provide them better client service. They're going to want to know that. That's a competitive advantage for your firm. If you're going to clients, or if your clients are asking, what are you doing with AI? What's your firm doing? And you say, well, we're thinking about it, we're looking at it, we're waiting to see the impact it has, that again is another wrong answer, Jim.
Yep.
So from a growth perspective, it's all about what it can do for you right now, from, again, kind of building thought leadership and building content out there, but also what opportunities does it bring to your firm with your clients, and making sure that you're able to bridge that gap for your clients as well. And then last but not least is definitely the technology pillar. No surprise, you hear a lot about AI in technology. And right now, your technology leaders, they are not just figuring these things out. I mean, they are embracing them, they are excited about them. But I know a lot of technology leaders that I speak to are also very nervous. They understand AI. There's AI out there that just about anyone can get to and start using. So again, it makes from a privacy and protection perspective, it makes our IT leaders pretty nervous. But they understand that their role is not only to protect, but also to enable. So they are looking for opportunities to provide AI. They're looking for opportunities to provide that education to the firm, while they're also kind of, I would say, treading lightly in some areas, because again, they want to make sure that they're protecting the firm as well. So they are trying to bridge that knowledge gap between the technology, the risk analysis, and the benefit to the firm also. So a lot of great opportunity for firms there. We're seeing a lot of them embrace technology, whether it's using things that are readily available and educating about the risks, things like ChatGPT that's been out there for a while, or some of the new, more enterprise level tools out there, like Microsoft's Azure OpenAI services, which allow firms to kind of build internal GPTs. So there's a lot going on there from a technology perspective. But yeah, Jim, this one is, when we say AI everywhere, we truly mean it is everywhere.
Yeah, and it's exciting to think about the impact that this is going to have. There's a lot of learning that's going to have to take place, but speaking of excitement, it's great to be here live having this conversation with you. While this probably won't air for a few months, but we are taping here live from the Boomer Circle Summit, where we've got all our circles coming together. So it's an exciting week that we're just kicking off this evening with our welcome reception. But for any of our listeners that didn't make it to this year's summit, certainly check it out. We're already probably deep in planning by the time you watch this for 2025. But now that we've kind of covered each of the 5 lenses from the macro trend of AI everywhere, let's talk a little bit about anything that we've seen that has changed from when we first put this together at the beginning of 2024 as we've progressed on in the area of AI. What's evolving? What have you seen?
Yeah. And Jim, I always get excited when we talk about the trends because I always like to share how we come up with them. I joke that we lock ourselves in the room, that all of the consultants lock themselves in the room in January and share what we're hearing from the different circles and different industry thought leaders and different firms that we work with. I know we don't actually lock ourselves in a room, but I love that session because I learned so much about the other pillars that I don't normally work with. And I really appreciate those conversations. But also, once a quarter, we get together and talk about these and kind of check in and see if we're still on track. Because some things do change. I remember we had a conversation in January of 2023, and we weren't even really talking about ChatGPT at that point. Fast forward a couple of months, and that was the trend that we were talking about all the time. So I think from an AI everywhere perspective, we're still really on track. Like how it's impacting all 5 pillars, I think we're still pretty spot on. But like you said, Jim, we're here at the Boomer Circle Summit, so we're going to talk to over 4, I think it's almost 400 people in the profession, and we're going to learn what we don't know yet. So I look forward to our conversation in Q4 and see how things are impacting AI everywhere.
Yeah. It's 450 actually. But back to the topic of AI.
I'm not
and
a
the
numbers
question,
person, Jim.
well, to build on what you said, I think the things that have evolved in the space of AI is just the continued speed with which this picks up how we're progressing. So, you're starting to see more and more applications that just have it built in, that are focused on the core work that accounting firms do. So the areas of tax prep, tax research, there's a lot of things coming to market. The second thing I'd say that I've seen shift is, I talked in the open when I started in on the leadership area, the importance of educating yourself and educating your firm. And I think that we have to continue that. But I also think firms have gotten far enough in their education that they've realized we also have to marry this with the vision for the organization. So we're not just doing AI for the sake of saying we did AI, but rather we're leveraging these tools in a way that it drives us towards the successful implementation of our long-term vision for our organization. So just a couple of additional thoughts of, I think, how this has evolved throughout so far in 2024, and I think there's going to be a lot more rapid evolution that's going to happen here in the tail end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, AI is moving quickly, so I think we still have a lot of time in 2024 to see what happens. But let's look forward to 2025. What trends are you starting to see, or what do you think is going to bubble up in 2025?
Well, I'll start with ditto. Like what I just said has happened in 24 is going to continue to happen, and it's going to continue to happen faster and faster. More applications with it built in. more tying it to the vision, and being clear on how we want to implement AI. But probably the last thing, knowing that we promised 20 minutes or less and timing, I'll keep it brief. I'll say the last thing is, I think in 2025, that's going to be really the year that we see firms sharing out use cases of how they did it. And when that happens, just like it did with automation, you start to see the snowball build, and as I keep saying, it's going to get faster and faster, and we're going to see a lot of tangible examples of how this is benefiting firms and the individuals within firms.
Yeah. One thing I would add there, I think AI is helping us uncover some of the opportunity we have within the firm. And the example being, as firms are looking for what can AI do for us, like can we build internal GPTs? Can we use our data internally to provide insights and things like that to clients? We're realizing that our data is pretty much a mess. It really is. We have data everywhere. We have, we have it, in multiple places, and we really need to clean that up to make sure that we are considering privacy, but we're also considering accuracy as well. We want to build not just AI tools, but we want them to be good tools. Mm-hmm. So I think we'll see that in 2025 also.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jim, I just want to say thank you so much. I always appreciate our conversations. So thank you for being here today at the Boomer Circle Summit. Mm-hmm. And if our listeners, if you enjoyed this topic, we do release new podcasts every Tuesday. So make sure that you subscribe. We like to rotate the topics, but they'll always be in those 5 pillars of leadership, talent, process, growth, and technology. And they're all designed to help you solve a critical business issue in 20 minutes or less. So thank you for listening today.
Thank you.